Here and go ahead and make the presentation.
Lloyd, thank you very much. Thank you for asking me to come. You guys in the back, can you hear me? Am I speaking loud enough? Because I don't know about the acoustic. Sometimes I talk too low. If that happens, raise your hand and then I'll know I'm not talking loud enough. As Lloyd said, my name's Ted Wagner. I live in Menifee, California. We have a group called Conservative Activists over there, and about this time last year, the group started. It was a 9/12 group is how we started, and we've been involved with the Temecula Tea Party, and Menifee's going to have its own first Tea Party April 15th of this year, coming up next month. So, and we have some good things happening over there, and that's what I'm here to tell you about. And I'd like to tell you that this came about because of how smart and brilliant I was, but it wouldn't be the truth. The truth of the matter is I just stumbled across this, and I wrote everything down here on this paper. Everything I'm going to say is on this paper, so if you don't lose the paper, you can do what we did. And I was watching the TV one day, and how many people have ever heard of Sheriff Joe Arpaio from Arizona? And I was watching the broadcast, probably on Fox News. That's what I usually watch. And the ICE, what we used to call the Border Patrol, right? ICE occasionally contracts with the local county sheriffs to enforce the immigration laws, I guess because they don't have enough people, right? And they contracted with Joe Arpaio in Arizona to enforce the federal immigration laws. And he was doing such a great job that they forced him to quit. they took his contract away, which is not surprising really, because they don't want to enforce the immigration laws. And that wasn't what was surprising to me. I kind of expected that from the Obama administration. But he said something. He said, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing for the feds. I'm just going to do it under the state law. And that, we don't have a state law in California like that. And that got me to thinking. I'm saying, what kind of law do they have in Arizona where he can do this? And I have a little bit of interest in the law myself, because I've had troubles with the IRS before. If you have troubles with the IRS, you have to learn about the law. So I looked up on the internet, and all this stuff is easily searchable now. And Arizona has a statute that they passed, I believe it was in 2007. Anybody from Arizona here? Anybody know Arizona? Arizonians? It's called the Legal Arizona Workers Act. And basically what the Legal Arizona Workers Act does is employers are mandated to use the federal E-Verify system. Anybody ever heard of the E-Verify system? Just to show you how mad our government is, Congress mandated this for the Department of Homeland Security. They have this E-Verify system where they can check whether people have a legal right to be here and work in the country. And they created this whole system, but they don't require anybody to use it. The only people that are required to use it is if you're a federal contractor. Then you have to use it, but nobody else has to. So, but Arizona passed a state law that in Arizona employers are required to use the E-Verify system. If citizens make a complaint, the county district attorney or its equivalent in Arizona, whatever it is, investigates, and if they find the person is an illegal alien, they order them to fire them. They lose their job. The illegal alien is terminated. Not only that, if the employer persists on doing it, they take away their business license. They put them out of business. Well, you know what? That's a law that's got real teeth. That's a law that's got real teeth. And I thought, I thought that's great. But I said, you know what? I knew, and I've since had that confirmed by California State Assemblymen, the liberal Democrats in Sacramento are never going to pass a law like that in California. It's just not going to happen. True. So, but I got to thinking, over in Menifee, I've been involved in a couple of, we have local city initiatives. We're a new city, we're about a year old, and there's no term limits on our councilmen and our mayor, so some of the citizens got together, created a term limit initiative, and I was one of the people out circulating the initiative. And so I really got to thinking, and it's not a real big city, and we only need to pass an initiative in Menifee, you only need 3,300 valid signatures. Well, that's not too hard to do, really. You know what? In Menifee, two guys, Ken Lehman and John Smeltzer, went door to door in the city of Menifee with an initiative petition telling people we wanted term limits on the council. And those two guys are basically responsible to get it on the ballot. They just turned it in last Friday and just had just short of 6,000 signatures, and they could have got a lot more if they wanted to. So it's very doable to do a city initiative. Now, I was also, anybody involved in the Citizen Power campaign, collecting signatures? Well, that's the Tea Party. That's a state initiative. On a state level, you need 750,000 valid signatures, or essentially 1.1 million. Those are kind of mind-boggling numbers, and initiatives like that, volunteer initiatives, don't usually qualify. So I got to thinking, I said, you know what? We could do this in the city of Menifee. I said, I know the guys that drafted this. We could get an initiative. I said, if I had to, I could get 3,300 signatures myself and put this on the ballot. And I know the people would vote for it. I know they would sign it. And then I start thinking more, because I go down to Target and I've been working getting signatures. It's work. You go out there and sit for 4 or 5 hours, and it can be fun, but it's a lot of work. And I was looking at the Arizona statute I was going to write an initiative petition, and as I was doing the research, I come to find out that the city of Lancaster, California, on December 31st, they had a city ordinance that went into effect in Lancaster, and it basically does the same thing that the Arizona statute does. It's a city ordinance. And they didn't do it by initiative petition, they just did it by council vote. Their council people voted it in. 5-0 over in Lancaster. And you probably didn't hear about it because there's only one article in the LA Times that I found about it, so it wasn't real well publicized. So I thought, well, you know what? It would really be a lot easier if I just go, and I started to go to, has anybody ever been to their local city council meeting? A couple of people. Does anybody know their local council people? A couple of people do. That's good. You might be able to put that to use. So I said, I'm going to go, I said, it's a lot of work to do an initiative petition. So how our council works over an agenda, and most councils are their procedure, most of them are pretty similar, I think. They have a time set aside, a non-agenda items. It's similar to what they got. Lloyd's got a agenda thing here on the bottom of the agenda. It says open forum, someplace where you can stand up and talk about whatever you want. Well, city councils are like that too, and our city council has a time set aside for agenda items. I said, I'm going to go down and talk to the city council. So I took them 3 things. I took them and you have them, most of you have them here. I took them a copy of I took a copy of the Lancaster ordinance number 934. I took a copy of the Lancaster staff report. It's actually, I only gave you 1 page. It's a 3-page document, but I didn't want to copy that much. So you got 1 page, but all you really have to know is on there. There's 2. I underlined them. It says the Lancaster city attorney. They investigated the state of law, and they said based on the foregoing, the ordinance is not preempted by state law, and they say based on the foregoing, the ordinance is not preempted by federal law. Oh, and I guess I should talk about the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. The thing that really got me excited when I was looking at the Legal Arizona Workers Act was as soon as they passed that law in Arizona, a couple of organizations, let's see, Chicanos por la Causa and Somos America